Hey,
Hi,
how's it going?
good. How are you?
All right, are you in Chicago?
Still in Chicago. Yep.
How is it?
It's good. It's good.
Good. Are you with family?
My sister lives here, Robin, and my brother and my other sister. Um, and I'm staying at Sandy's house until Tuesday. We're going to go to Indiana.
What's in Indiana?
That's where my sister lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're such a jet setter. I'm so impressed. Like I couldn't handle 1/10 of all the travel that you take on.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I could.
Hmm.
I think for my nervous system, it would just be a lot of like external stresses and X factors.
I think the worst part is just getting there.
And are you like refining your like how you travel and how you work it out with your boyfriend?
Hang on one sec, okay? Anyway, it's still in progress. Like we missed a flight because things didn't flow. Like there wasn't anybody there when we got off the plane, yada, yada, yada. So we missed the flight after being on the plane for a lot of hours, like 10. And so then we had to wait another 4. So it's in progress.
Okay. And what's flying like these days? Have they calmed down? Is it
That part's easy. Once I'm on the plane, that's the easy part.
okay? It's just the transitions.
Yeah. And then not being in your own house,
Yeah.
there's like 25 million stairs. So I like press the wall on one side and hold the rail on the other to get up the stairs. And then once I get up the stairs, I got a whole process, but it's
Thank God you have such long arms.
I know. I thought about that. That's so true. Jesus, I can't even imagine if I didn't.
And whatever happened with, I mean, it looks like it's just the two of us. So I feel like we can just talk about whatever we want.
I think Robbie's coming for sure. She was at Maverick, the Tom Cruise movie. So she said she'd be a little late.
Okay. Anything with Greg? Is that happening, not happening?
That I put on the back burner for now because my doctor that in Kauai has a whole protocol. So he said, let's try this first before we try that. And I said, okay.
Cool. And have you started that?
Yes. So what they found was he's like this, he said, you have the perfect storm. They did all this tests on my heavy metals and mercury, and I'm basically a walking atomic bomb.
So are you on a metal detox?
That's like the least. The metals was like the least of my issues. There's other chemicals that are like 30 times what they're supposed to be. And so he said he's never seen levels this high. So we have to get everything like back to ground zero. Yeah, I know.
I'm so happy you have clarity though. Like,
yeah, that's what he said. He goes, look, the good news is we know what this is.
yeah.
He said, I don't know how it happened. He said the last surgery just must have woken the sleeping giant. It was like one too many surgeries on your body because I've had like several surgeries.
Yeah. And did that resonate when you got those test results back?
It hasn't yet because this last night we just had a phone call, Chet and he and I, because he had done tons and tons of tests. Thank you, Boo. And so I just like have to still think about it. Cause I told him, I'm like, I don't do drugs anymore. I don't drink anymore. It's just so odd to me that my body is just full of so many chemicals. It just seems weird.
It's our world though. I mean, the
That's what he
water,
said.
the air, I once got a really bad case of heavy metal poisoning from tainted Chinese herbs.
Yeah. He said,
Yeah.
God did not intend for us to have all this shit.
No, not at all. What kind of, you must have good water filtration system at home, I imagine.
Back in Hawaii, yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to know there's clarity on this and that there's a protocol in place.
Yeah, he's really happy. He was like, he's funny. He's like a mad scientist. He's kind of like Greg, but a little different. He said, I know you're probably not happy, but I'm ecstatic. He said, this is so much fun for me. He said, but I know this is not. He said, this is just great. He said, I love seeing all this and being able to analyze. Like, he's making appointments with people to better understand certain results that he's not 100% clear on.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
which I love. So he's not like an egomaniac.
Yeah. No, I mean, just for like everything that you've been through to have like a clear metric of like, this is 30% higher than it's supposed to be, like, okay, now we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So he said, of course, organic from now on. I've got to do the wash thing.
Washing your veggies?
Yeah. Washing fruits and stuff. And then he said there's certain fruits he doesn't want me to eat. And of course, they're the ones I love. Like cherries.
Is that because they're so toxic, or is that because of cherries themselves?
That's because they're toxic. Because the way they're handled.
Right. I mean, do you know anyone in town who just has a cherry tree on their land?
Not here in Chicago, Illinois.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, but it was crazy to hear this. It's like, you look at the results, because he sent me the actual results from the labs, and it's like off the chart, certain chemicals. He's like, you are full of toxins, like just full of toxins.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, my brain's going like this for like every detox protocol I know. Do you sauna? Steam?
Well, that's he wants me infrared sauning every day.
Yeah. So I just got an infrared sauna on Amazon for like $150.
Wow.
It's just like a tent, it's not like a big wood thing, but it does the trick, and it folds up, so it doesn't even take any space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cause in town, they're like $80 per session.
Visit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I already pay for it in two,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to honor Robin, who I haven't even said hi to, but we will come back to me brainstorming on your behalf. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going. I just saw the best movie ever.
Literally the best ever?
It ranks as one of the top 10.
Wow, what made it so good?
The Hot Men.
What's your type? What's a hot man to you?
A man that does dishes and chores around the
Hi,
house
Alex.
without being asked.
So that's what the movie was
No,
about?
honestly, I love the original Top Gun, so I'm a big Top Gun fan. So
Okay.
the remake, I'm like, you never know with like this many years later, I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
Not everyone, but everyone that had seen it said you have to go. No one was interested in joining me, so I'm like, I'm gonna go with myself.
Good.
So me, myself, and I went to the movie, and snuggled up with the blanket, had my big water, all my smuggled in candy, got popcorn. I haven't had movie theater popcorn in years. So yeah, it was the highlight of my week.
That's awesome. Good for you for taking yourself out on a date. I love that.
I invited my husband. He's like, no, I have other things to do. I'm like, all right, you're lost. My game. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I always felt like in terms of hanging out with friends, we're not even talking in movies. So better that I just go by myself and we can hang out after.
Yeah.
Not that I go to movies, but in
But
that
anyway,
lifetime.
it was really good.
Is
really
Tom
good.
Cruise in it?
He is,
Okay.
and he's aging like fine wine. But I loved it. I loved it from start to finish. I laughed, I cried, I was grabbing onto the seat. It was fun.
Good. Yay. Awesome.
Did you say grabbing onto the seat?
Yeah, like when they were doing all the fighting, the all the stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, please don't let anyone die. Please, no more, no more, no more. So
Right.
yeah, it was a little intense, a couple of those parts.
Yeah, I
But
can
yeah.
imagine.
Was so good, especially when they were playing football on the beach with their shirts off.
So you like a hunky, like traditionally masculine
Well,
man.
not just. I like to look, but is that really my type? I don't know. I don't really know that I have a type. My type is compassionate, funny, easygoing. Will do chores around the house without being asked. Notice I brought that up a couple times now, so obviously
Yes.
that's important to me. So yeah, that was my. Did you do your yums and sucks?
No, we haven't done anything yet. So it's us today, and I was gonna lead us into meditation, but given that a third of us are operating a moving vehicle, we're not gonna do that. So yeah, let's start off with
I can pull over.
I don't want to interrupt your flow. Let's see where you're at by the end of the call. I want to honor your momentum.
Okay, well, either way, I'm pulling over because I want to be present anyway.
Okay. My big thing these days, especially with all the coaching, is just being super nimble and working with where we're all at today.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Go
So
find my nice shady spot.
Perfect. Well, why don't we start off with a round of yums and sucks? Who would like to start?
I'll start. My yum was that I got to see my sissy. Although the time together was short-lived, I will be seeing her again and spending quality time with her. So that was my yum. And I cannot think of a suck. So I'm going to have to give that some thought. It was
Okay.
really,
And
it was
sucks oh, go ahead.
no, it was a really nice, peaceful week.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And sucks can also be just like illumination showing us where we still have growing to do, still have, rough edges to refine. It doesn't have to be anything that's legit sucky.
Okay.
But just anything that's pointing to where we can shift and grow.
I need to continue to grow and master boundaries. I am not a master. I am a badass. But I would welcome a language upgrade.
Yeah.
Not a master. What? And I know you don't like work in progress.
I love work in progress.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, what the things that trigger me and don't feel necessarily good in my body, if they feel good and uplifting to you, go for it.
Okay.
We're all totally different and have different associations.
Right. I love that. That's interesting that you say that, because I say that often too with different people in different situations in life. I'll say, if it feels good to you and it feels good in your heart, then that's that.
Yeah, totally. I like witch, and a lot of people have issues around witch, and I'm like, that's cool. I don't have those, so I'm not gonna, adjust that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's restate the boundary thing. Where are you? Are you choosing to get better and better? Are you still mastering?
I am mastering.
Okay. Are there any specific instances that came up this week that you're wanting to share, that you're inviting reflections on?
My son asked me for money again, and I said no. Didn't reason, explanation, nothing. I'm like, here's, in my mind, I'm like, same thing. get a job like everybody else. You're going to be 23 years old. I wanted it back there. I would have gone into all the explaining, and then it would like fester and I'd get all hot and uncomfortable. And now I'm like, no, and not even, and zero on the I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry. The answer is no.
That's a triumph, Robin. That's fantastic.
I'm tapped out. I mean, I'm tapped out. So
good for you.
Yeah, it made me feel really good, and I didn't feel bad about it. And there was zero guilt and zero any residual after the fact. I'm like, I'm good.
Fantastic. That's great. Sounds like you're rocking the boundaries. Are there any realms where you're seeing where your boundaries could be stronger?
I feel like they could always be stronger and in general across the board. But again, I'm mindful specifically of, yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that, but I'll get there.
It sounds like you're there. It sounds like you are getting there.
And in the right direction. I don't know if I'm there. I think if I were there, I would know I was there. I wouldn't be questioning, am I there? Or would I?
Well, as well, Robin, give yourself credit because this is a new practice for you, right? And so you're doing it. It's just, you're still getting comfortable doing it.
There you go.
You're doing it. I want that clear.
Right. Okay, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm learning to get comfortable with it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Roxy, yums and sucks.
I'd say my middle of the road yum suck is just not feeling stable, not physically, but mentally, if that makes sense.
Would you be willing to expound upon it a little bit or a lot of bit?
Just, you know, when you're not in your own home and you're not in your own surroundings, and then you're having these deep conversations with your doctor and, you know, hubby's not here. It's just you just don't feel, you just feel wobbly. Not wobbly like you're going to fall over, but just wobbly.
Okay, I'm going to invite you to restate all of that
Sure.
in the personal pronoun, using I instead of you.
I. dot, dot, dot. And then I came up with something this morning, which I thought was hilarious for me, not probably you, Danny, maybe you. But I said, now I realize why I never got COVID. Because, you know, COVID's behind us anyway, so it's a thing of the past. I never got it because, are you ready, girls? Hold on to your chair, as Robin would say in the movie theater. Because those little fuckers, they start creeping around. They start sniffing over here. They're like, fuck, that thing's full of toxins. Let's get the hell out of here before she kills us.
Even with this toxic overload that you're dealing with, I'm willing to bet that you have a lot less toxins in your body than the average American.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
I would like to think so, but according to Dr. Rogoff, he's never seen this kind of overflow.
Okay. And so what is that, when you hear that, like does that inspire, like what thought forms and associations does that inspire?
Not really inspiring anything. It just makes me question. It's like, how did I end up with all this toxin in my body? You know, like I was working out with Julie this morning and she's like, God, you eat so healthy. And I'm just like, I don't even want to like have the conversation with anyone because it's just not a conversation I want to have because of things like that. Because, you know, everybody becomes a doctor overnight.
Totally.
Or on the spot. So it's just, so for myself though, I'm just like, again, just I am a little wobbly.
And what tools or practices do you have that you can utilize in this situation and when you're traveling that allow you to feel grounded and stable?
The only one I know, going into a calm, deep, quiet, peaceful meditation. Even when everyone around me is doing stuff, I can still go there. I can be brushing my teeth and meditate.
Mhm.
And
And
I've gotten really good at it, especially with all the traveling and stuff. Like all this stuff's going on and I just go, whoosh.
yeah. Are you in the practice of dropping grounding cords?
Dropping, grounding. I don't know. Tell me what that is. I don't know that.
So it's a really helpful practice, especially when we're traveling. I do it every morning and throughout the day. And we've done this in our group meditations. So it's in a meditative state. You imagine a cord coming from the base of your spine, going through the earth
Yes.
and
Yep.
clicking into the core. And so anytime we're feeling wobbly or ungrounded, to drop that grounding cord so that we can feel that inherent connection with Mother Earth. And
Yes.
then even in the room that you're sitting in now, all four corners drop cords. You know,
Mhm.
and like at the base of the cord, for me, when I'm feeling especially ungrounded, like I'll do like a black tourmaline, you know, or a dark ruby, you know, really grounding stones.
Mhm.
And then just imagine like the corners of the room, you know, or even think of an overlay of Chicago itself and just grounding that overlay with those stones. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. Because I think I spend a lot of time just going inward, but I'm not really protecting the outer space. I'm definitely protecting my own capsule, if you will.
Yeah.
But I need to put the grounds, I need to put the stakes in the four corners, as you're saying.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
as well to just like give you that, because I love what you're doing with yourself, but it's still like, you know, Roxy the badass and then the world at large. And this links you to the planet. And it's like, okay, so now you have the planet supporting you and grounding you and holding you as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It does. And I have not every week, of course, you know, and every day you give me so many great things to think about. And the thing that you mentioned last week, I've been thinking about, I brought that to Chicago as well. Do you know what it is?
Which one was that?
Which fabulous thing did I say last week? Danny
Yeah.
says to herself.
Yes.
What you said last week was, I am here to slow everybody's fucking ass down.
Yes.
You didn't quite say it like that. You said just to turn, just to pivot the entire experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is that helping you?
Yeah, it does.
Have you
'Cause
ever
it's
been into,
true.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, because it's true. I mean, if you ask anyone, I would guess everyone will tell you that I move the quickest, the fastest. I get 1,000 things done in like 30 seconds. And now it's like completely pivoted.
Mhm.
And who better than me to be the teacher for that?
Well, I just want to give you props for taking on such an epic initiation for yourself. To you know, your oversoul chose this to choose to go from being the fastest to being the slowest. You know, like that's a bold move. You know, that takes a lot of courage. So I just want to honor that aspect of you that is making this choice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Like literally every single thing you can imagine, you've got to prep for. So I could take a shower in like 3 seconds. Paul used to laugh. He's like, "What are you doing there? Nothing?" I'm like, "No, I got to shave the legs. I washed every bit." He's like, "You are so fast." And now it's like I got to think about it. And if we're going out in like 2 hours, then I start 1 hour ahead. So everything that I do is slowed down. every little tiny thing.
This is, I in no way intend to minimize the emotions or the frustration around your experience.
No,
It's all
no.
super valid. And like any spiritual teacher will say, when we bring consciousness to that which is unconscious, right? Like our breath practices, that is where spiritual mastery comes from. So you are being invited to redo everything in a new way, which is
Yeah.
a massive spiritual teaching and initiation.
Yeah.
You know, and I really encourage you to frame it in that way, you know, in the same way that like a 13-year-old native person is going to do a vision quest. Like this is your vision quest. So when you're taking an hour-long shower to like honor the sacred process of learning to do this differently in terms of your soul's larger evolution.
Yep. And also just taking like literally when I get really wobbly, I just go back to the simple basic. I just breathe in. I'm enjoying every little tiny speck of air that's going in through my nostrils, every little tiny thing. It can get that simple at times.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that.
And that's it. So I got my funny, which is, like I said, nobody's coming to get me because they're like, let's move on from that person. We're just going to skip her altogether.
It's your COVID kryptonite.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
And what's your yum?
My yum is just how much everyone loves me. I think I take it for granted a lot.
Yeah. It's really nice to hear you say that. I like that. Okay, well, since Robin is in a place where we could drop in, I'm gonna guide us through meditation, but let me just do my yum and suck so that I can be part of this too. So my suck is I've been interviewing business coaches, and I had a discovery call with one who hated me immediately and was just like super abusive and mean, and basically took the call as an opportunity to like rip me to shreds. And the good news is that a batch of synchronicities led me to the woman who I think is actually my perfect coach. Yeah. I'm just holding the vision of manifesting an unexpected windfall so that it can happen.
And can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you say that this woman hated you from the beginning and took it as an opportunity, what were the signs that made you absolutely sure that that's what she was doing?
She asked me what I do and what my goals are. And then she just started tearing me down and saying like, you know, well, you're very deep and you're very angry and it's very off-putting, and I could see why no one would be attracted to your business, and you're not talking about what brings you joy. And I was like, you didn't ask me what brings me joy. Like this, I'm not selling you. Like you asked me what's going on. And as a coach, like I'm being transparent with you. It was weird.
Okay.
It was extremely the opposite of constructive or kind or compassionate. It was just like, I picture it like a puppy with like a toy in its mouth, just kind of like shredding it.
Was that an interview for a coach, or did you have to pay for that hour with her?
No, I didn't pay for it.
Okay. That was you doing your due diligence.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And the good news
And now
is
keep going.
no, that's it.
How'd you get, then how did that lead to the wonderful one that we hope is
So
going to be
I
wonderful?
was pretty, like, I did let it spin me out. I take responsibility, and I let it spin me out for most of the day. And later that day, there was a comment on one of my social media posts, and I was curious about the woman who made it. So I clicked on her profile, which is something I rarely do. And on her feed, she had 2 back-to-back posts that were synchronistically what I had just been talking about with my therapist. He was like, well, why don't you join a synagogue and like network with other Jews? And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. And then I looked up all the synagogues in Santa Fe, and they all require this thing. So it was just like, what is the point? So on this woman's profile, she had a post about Shabbat, and then she had a post about her good friend who was a business coach. So I clicked through to her business coach page, and her every bullet point was literally exactly what I had been calling in. And then I had a call with her yesterday. She happens to live in Santa Fe, which I didn't know.
No way.
I know. And she was like
my God.
super cool and gets it, and like is a Taurus, and like all the grounded piece. Yes, the magical, amazing sign, Taurus. She was just like, checks off all my boxes. It's just, like now I'm just transmuting any of the outdated fears coming up about how I'm like really gonna make it happen.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
And you just reminded me of something else too. What did you post something about me as a Cancer, that here comes the Cancers and they're, I don't know, something about, do you not normally bond with Cancers?
I do better with Cancer women than Cancer men.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Phew.
I have good Cancer female friends. It's just, yeah. Cancer men are extremely tricky for me, as are Pisces men.
Paul's a
But
Pisces.
you're very unique as a Cancer. Like, you can handle me. Most Cancers I know are so extremely sensitive. Like, I will offend them, beyond repair within 5 minutes.
No. There's nothing you could say that would offend me.
You're very unique.
Long term, comma, long term. For more than 5 minutes. My husband's a Cancer too. I think you said something, it was you or somebody else that I read this, and I'm like, that is not me. Here comes the passive aggressive month.
Yeah, I said
Like,
Cancer
yeah,
season
not
is
me.
passive aggressive season.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
don't
not me.
experience you as passive aggressive.
No, I'm aggressive and sometimes passive aggressive. And then I like to do a circle back to make sure that passive aggressive turns into just downright aggressive.
Well, I appreciate downright aggressive because at least it's honest.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, are we down with a little meditation?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. So
Yes.
let's get ourselves comfy and upright. And go ahead and close your eyes once you're settled. Robin, I love your jumpsuit so much. Okay. And just start dropping into the breath. Taking some nice, deep, rhythmic breaths. Seeing if we can inhale. At the top of the inhale, just take in a little bit more oxygen than we normally take in. Hold it for a little bit longer than we normally would. And then exhaling, same length, same intensity as the inhale. And at the bottom, see if you can empty out just a little bit more oxygen. And again, just holding it a little bit longer than you would, and just continuing this breath pattern. So taking in a little bit of extra oxygen at the top, releasing a little bit of extra oxygen at the bottom, and starting to regulate the breath pattern so that the inhale and the exhale is the same length and the same intensity. And just let that rhythm just start to regulate your whole nervous system, and just start to entrain your whole system to a slower, fuller experience. And notice any parts of your body that are making contact with the earth or the surface that you're sitting upon. And just using these spots to really narrow our focus. Inhaling ourselves deeper into our internal experience, into this present moment. Using the exhale to release any and all distractions, anything that came before or that may come after, any errant thoughts, just releasing them in that exhale. Noticing any sounds that the breath is making. Releasing the tongue from the roof of your mouth, relaxing the jaw. And again, still using this regulated breath pattern, bring your attention to your lower belly. Notice if you're holding any tension there. And just go ahead and give your belly full permission to release, to relax, to fully expand. And bringing the attention up to your chest and shoulders. Notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders, letting them drop down your back. Bringing your attention to your hands and your fingers. Notice if you're holding any tension there. And go ahead and give your body permission to relax. Same with the neck. Notice what it's like if you drop your chin just the tiniest bit and kind of pull your head back towards whatever's behind you. And just noticing how that shifts your whole posture and what releases and relaxes from that place. And bringing your attention to your eyebrows. Relax. Just letting everything go as you continue these extra long inhales and extra long exhales. And let's drop a grounding cord. So the grounding cord comes from the base of our spine, and it can be whatever we want. A string of pearls, a string of tourmaline, a monkey tail, a tree trunk, a beam of light, a snake. Whatever first comes to mind is just right for you. And I want you to imagine that grounding cord penetrating through the floor, the earth, through all of the layers of the earth, plunging down through the earth's crystalline core, where it clicks into your unique, individualized, special place within the earth. And as it clicks in, just take a moment to feel into that connection between you and Mother Earth. Resting in your earthliness, reminding yourself that we are all earthlings. That is the one thing that every being on this planet has in common, is we are all earthlings. She is our mother. She is always holding us. So let yourself really relax and trust in that holding, in that connection, in that knowingness that she's always here, supporting us, feeding us, nourishing us, giving us oxygen, giving us nutrients, giving us sunshine. Well, at least holding herself in space in such a way that we can receive the sunshine. And just do a body scan from this place of connection, seeing where else you're holding tension and giving it permission to release. Letting it all just fall down that grounding cord. And as we continue to inhale ourselves into the present moment, into our own space, our own energy field, releasing down that grounding cord, any worries, any fears, any stories, any annoyances, any lingering thoughts or tasks, just let them all fall down that grounding cord to become so much earthly compost. And letting yourself just be completely in your own sovereign energy without any external anythings. And from this place, I want you to call forth in your mind's eye a vision of yourself at your very best, at your most peaceful, at your most vibrant, at your healthiest, at your most empowered, at your most balanced, at your most loving, inspired, connected, aligned, yummiest, most joyful self. And take a moment to really study this version of yourself that you have called forth. Notice her posture. Notice how she is inhabiting her body. Allow those qualities that you're tracking now, allow them to merge with you in your body in this here and now. Notice how that feels in your body. And as you continue to avail yourself to these emanations that are radiating off of this version of yourself, I want you to ask her to show you any blocks or stories that you think are impeding you from embodying this version of yourself now. And allow yourself to receive. The message may not come through words. It may come through visions, through feelings, through symbols, colors, patterns. Just notice what comes up. And as you take stock of any of these pieces that you think are impeding you from embodying this version of yourself, allow them to fall down that grounding cord. Let them all go. And if any stories come up, Any excuses, any but I can't, but what about this? Again, let them fall down that grounding cord. And as you continue to hold this version of yourself in your mind's eye, ask her, which is you, for any clues as to how you can embody this version of yourself at all times. Ask her if there's anything you need to do, you need to stop doing. And again, our higher selves speak to us in clues. So it might be visions, it might be emotions, it might be symbols, stories, colors, associations. And ask her what your soul is most wanting in this moment for you to embody this version of yourself. And then as you continue these expansive inhales and exhales, I want you to inhale straight into your heart, expanding it as wide as it can possibly be expanded, and then imagine this highest version of yourself merging into you. Eradicating any illusions of separation between the you that you are in this here and now today. And go ahead and place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your right hand. And use the breath as you integrate this merging. And just again, noticing how it feels in your body to welcome these aspects, this version of yourself into your present moment experience. Noticing any shifts in your posture, any shifts in your expression, noticing if there's any movement that your body's wanting to take to help with the integration, to help harmonize this merging. And then just check in from this place and see if there's anything that your fully merged, unified self is wanting today to help with this integration. If it's anything that she's wanting you to do, to eat, to listen to wear, any conversations to be had. If there's anything that you can do for yourself today, that's just going to help you integrate and embody this wholeness that we are now facilitating. And just take a couple more breaths here, luxuriating in what it feels like to be reunited with our whole and best selves. And whenever you're ready, no rush, go ahead and open your eyes and let me know that you're back. We had a location change.
Location change.
Wow. Were you able to do the meditation?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. How was that for you?
It was really good. It just, I'm going to listen to it again because there's so much.
Any surprises?
I think without overthinking it, I realize that this is, again, which you have already taught, this comes back to me. Like I have to look out for me. And all of these things that you were talking about on the meditation. Looking back, rechecking, grounding, doing the cord, what's it called again? The cord,
Cord cutting?
not cord cutting, but the cord
Oh, grounding cord.
grounding cord. It's like, this is all on me. I can't ask Chet to do it or Dr. Roga or Greg or you. This is all, the whole meditation is about coming back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I really recommend dropping the grounding cord in your morning meditations.
Okay.
You know, to really set your frequency to that of connection and support, you know, so that if you're not feeling supported in your own body, that you have that connection with the earth. And you can always pull energy from the earth up your grounding cord.
Would you do that? Isn't that important anyway, like both ways,
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
And would you do that before you even get out of bed?
Do you have a morning meditation practice?
Yeah, but it's not in bed.
So I do it on my meditation cushion. And if you're feeling guided to do it before you get out of bed, then do that for sure.
Okay.
You know, that would be really interesting for you when you wake up to do that. And then as you step out of bed, see how you feel on your feet.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Make sense? And
Yeah.
for me personally, when I drop a grounding cord at the bottom of it, whatever's connecting with the earth, for me is going to be like a stone that like is really, you know, if it's like a black diamond or an emerald or, you know, like something beautiful, of course, but some sort of mineral. I find that's really helpful with grounding. And then when I'm grounding the space that I'm in, I see those same gems and then I kind of create geometry linking them.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Robin, how was that for you? Oh, we
I
can't.
loved it.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any surprises come through?
It made me think about what you said last week. I think it was last week. You said, I felt like they didn't have my back, but I need to have my back.
Yeah.
So she was hugging me and reassuring me, like, you have come so far and I felt a lot of love, a lot of comfort. And I have my own back.
Exactly.
She has my back. That's what I felt.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was beautiful. Thank you.
I love hearing that, especially since you started off talking about boundaries, right? And that's boundaries. That's us having our own back. And then from there, if we have it to give, we can give until the cows come home once that's established.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any instructions for the day?
For me, the instructions for me were go out and play. And that is something that that I'm looking forward to mastering.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in spurts. Like I do really well, play. And then back to the work, house. And when I'm playing and it's so free, and play is as simple as going to the movies. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like hanging out with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a little while.
I'm glad you're
But
doing
anyway.
it. So is there other play on the agenda for you today?
I don't know that I will try it, but what came to mind was trying a cartwheel on this hill at the park.
Okay, we're mind melding because I had the exact same thought. I'm like, you're already in the park. Let's see some cartwheels.
Yeah, I'm going to try a cartwheel.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, not right now.
No need. But
No.
I love that we were thinking the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And typically I would look around like, is anyone, I really don't. Go ahead and watch. Feel free.
Yeah.
It's a public park.
Yeah. And like they
Yeah,
should be
but-
so
and
lucky.
And what's the worst thing that can happen? I fall flat on my face.
All good. Then you give other
Right.
people permission to do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. I love that.
Me too.
Fantastic. Roxy, what about you? Did you get any instructions for the day? I'm not sure you could hear me. Roxy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you get any instructions for the day?
I got the weirdest thing. I don't know why, but I somehow flashed back to that webinar you did. I don't know why.
Okay. Which webinar? Was it a specific part?
You know, the recent one.
Okay. The language of healing.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have the link to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And it was a weird thing too. And because again, things that trigger me are things I have to look at it myself. And I remember saying this exact thing. Somebody on your webinar was like asking you to take it from the top and explain the English language to them first before they could understand your, you know, that cool thing you do with nouns and pronouns.
Yeah.
And verbs and adjectives. And at first I was like frustrated and I realized I do the same thing when I was learning Spanish. I told the teacher, you got to back this way up. And it just, I don't know why that just hit me. It was really interesting.
So it's interesting that that came through in the meditation because what came up, and I understand that like you speak, you know, you're adjusting your communication for your audience. Be mindful right now of who you're sharing. The doctor said it's the worst levels he's seen, and watch how what that's doing to your own psyche.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Be
Sure
super mindful of that, you know?
Sure does.
Yeah.
And I think I know one of the things that he said that I'm really gravitating towards is this is absolutely curable. We just, now that we know what it is, for whatever reason, this perfect storm hit and we just got to clear it. So he's very positive, but he's
Great.
also pointing out that it is definitely, you know, the toxins, but yes, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So what are a couple ways, I know we're at time, but as you're open, like what are a couple ways that you could like communicate differently this new information?
Like if I was telling you guys for the first time,
Yep.
we found an opportunity to clear up some things and do a squeegee on the inside out.
I love that. How did that feel in your body saying it?
Good. Really
And
good.
and there's also the great news of like we've honed in on the origin point. So it's such great news, you know, and focusing on the triumph of the clarity, you know, and not getting muddled in the other piece.
And that's what that is. I'm probably not giving the doctor enough.
Oh, I'm losing you. Are you, I can't hear you, Roxy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, I'm not giving the doctor enough credit. That is how he communicates it.
Great. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm encouraging us to take the messages we got and to follow through. Roxy, if you're around Monday, I can totally chat on Monday if that works for you.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. All right, beauties. Well, it was great to get to drop in with you. Have a beautiful holiday. I'll see you next week.
I loved that it was
Danny?
the three of us.
I do too,
Me too.
but I just want to remind you. Can you hear me?
Yes. There's a little bit of a delay. Hello?
Just in case I forget. I can 100. Sorry. I'll text you.
Okay. All right,
Can you hear
love. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think going off video help.
So. I think maybe better to text me.
Just want to mention
I can't hear you, love.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up because I can't hear either, and I've got a cartwheel to try.
Yeah.
Clear delete. I have a cartwheel to do.
Yes, you
Bye.
do. Bye, love. Roxy, do you want to call me on the phone? Because I can't hear you.
Here I go.
Okay, good luck, Robin. All right, Roxy, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm not hearing you. I'm just going to turn my phone on and hope that you call me. I love you.